Hello and welcome to the Sports Dine with me, Kushagra, and we've got a full lineup of guests here today. First of all, we're joined by the V Express Sports team, Akshay and Atul. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And then the usual suspects, Vijay, a very dapper and cool conjunctivitis laid down Vijay here, sitting there, as he said before the record, sitting there as if his team won 7-0. The guy whose team actually did win 7-0, a contemplative Sushil, Anurag, and Pratmesh. Well, we've already done the Sound of Manchester video. I hope you guys have had the chance to look at that. If not, please, it's a cheap plug, but do go look at our sister channel as well. Very, very warm welcome to all of you guys here. We are here for another TSD podcast, where we talk all things football and actually a lot of nonsense as well. And there is no better place to start when you talk about nonsense than the state of Arsenal that is. Another loss for the club. As far as I can see, it's been 10 matches, 8 losses, 1 win, and 1 draw.
One
It's
win?
Yeah, United.
United,
Yeah. So
Intervention.
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Peter.
I would suggest that the two of you at least mute yourselves because United is the only club they can banter, and it's really sad.
It's okay. It's
Fine, yeah.
okay. The state of Arsenal is such that Arsenal fans don't even care to show
I'd
up
love
right
to
now.
take that banter in the ass, no problem.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This video's already went to the ass. I'll come to
Yeah.
Vijay then. I think I would trust him more in that sense. Vijay, you guys play the mighty Arsenal over the weekend. It's 26th the weekend on Boxing Day at least. I'm
Yep.
not entirely sure if it's the weekend, but on Boxing Day you guys take on Arsenal, and we just saw Arsenal, once again their second team losing to Man City's third team, maybe, or maybe second team. Not entirely sure.
Yeah.
If
Second.
if anyone did see the match, I do not understand what Runarsson was doing. Arteta must be having nightmares about letting Emi Martinez go, and Squadron Mustafi. Cannot believe that he's a World Cup winner. I genuinely cannot believe he has the worst World Cup
Yeah.
record ever.
Koshagra, I will give you one good news. Okay. Gary Neville recommended that he signed for Man United.
Well,
So,
we Gary Neville got ruined at Valencia. We all know what
yeah.
his recommendation should be.
Fair
So,
enough.
Vijay, coming back to you, Arsenal. We don't have any Arsenal fans here. I mean, I've struggled to ask this question to every guest. Do you see a way out for Arteta?
Okay, just before I answer that question, I think Kepa is now officially an Arsenal fan. He's not the world's worst goalkeeper because the way Arsenal lost to Man City, I
Runarsson is
don't know
from
who that.
Kepa's Academy of Keeping, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess so. But yeah, so I think the way in which you can, try and answer the question of Arsenal, how do they get back up to where they want to be, is to understand that they are not where they are now just because of Arteta coming in. Um, but right now, Arsenal just look like a team that don't have confidence. I was just thinking of, Chelsea are going to play them, and technically they have the quality to hurt us. We are still playing Arsenal. We lost to Everton, we lost to Wolves, and Arsenal do have the quality in terms of players to hurt this Chelsea team. But why aren't they doing it? It's beyond me. The players just, I mean, Willian looks like he's really retired. Like he's going there as to play friendlies every week,
He's
and
just managing his restaurant, isn't it, Vijay?
yeah, and I'm sorry, I feel very smug as a Chelsea fan because we always get the best of Arsenal in terms of transfers. Since Ashley Cole, since
Yeah.
Petr Cech, since Giroud.
Always.
Oh my God!
David
Yeah,
Luiz.
Imagine taking Giroud and giving them Luis and Willian.
yeah, and I think the sacrifice for that was the FA Cup last season, which Lampard did get out
It's fine.
tactic.
It's fine.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I don't mind, but that's the difference, right? Since they won that FA Cup, I think if you look at the post-match interview against their victory at United, the future was for Arsenal to like climb, and now they're just like they broke one leg, now the other leg is broken, and they're like, how do I walk? This is a very sad state for a club, and it's the players. I believe the players are not banded together. They have too big a squad. The players are having their own cliques. Arteta has his own approach, which might not be the I think it's very unbending. It's not where he lets people have their own say. So it's hard. I think it's a hard thing for Arteta to fix and also just take the blame for himself. But they have to do whatever they have to do as soon as possible. Okay, maybe after the Chelsea game. Yeah.
Yeah, Kushagra, by the way, these guys have inserted relegation contracts now into the players, which
Yeah,
will
it's
save them,
25%.
which will save them almost 40 million next season.
So, I mean, I
yeah.
don't know.
And
like,
Vijay,
I would
I guess
hope that they
Relegation
don't.
will lose them 200 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
But
shrewd economics. Yeah.
Yeah, and Vijay, I guess you're wrong. They're actually climbing up. They're climbing up towards their dream of playing in the championship. So that's fine.
Let's
Fair
just as a factor for Arsenal fans and for all football fans in general, Arsenal is one of the the only English club to have never been relegated, right?
Spurs,
I don't think
Spurs are also another.
no
club.
Spurs.
Oh.
Arsenal is the only one that's.
Arsenal is the only English club to have never been relegated, and whatever you might say, that's an incredible record. And to imagine to lose it in 2021,
Not gonna get relegated.
One can only hope. Sushi,
But an
That's
equally
not
insulting probably stat would be that I read it today. If Chelsea beat Arsenal, they would have more cumulative points in the Premier League than Arsenal for the first time since the Premier League started.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
when
That's incredible, Sushil, considering Chelsea were born in 2004, bro. It's incredible.
Ouch.
every time. Akshay, coming to you. You're the other resident Chelsea fan here for the video.
Yeah.
Matlab, what is the scenario with Arsenal? Because matlab, I don't even want to make fun of them anymore. I feel bad. I feel like
How do you feel bad? How do you have divided?
I definitely
No,
don't
I-
feel bad about
Arsenal.
Arsenal losing games or Arsenal.
No, I feel bad because dekho, you have it's I'll give you a very bad analogy, okay?
Yeah.
It's like kicking a beggar on the curb or something like that. The beggar or the homeless person on the curb. Or it's like you being Salman and driving. All right. Is it okay? We're already banned. This video is already done. So if it's about people actually being on the roadside and you kicking them around and walking around.
I'll tell you why you're feeling bad about it,
Helpless. It's
Kushagra.
helpless.
It's also because you see United potentially perhaps maybe
Bro,
one field going down that road.
It's a
It's fine.
premonition. It's a premonition because this is what mismanagement of a club can lead to,
Yeah.
and this is what it
it
is.
could also lead to third place.
Again, that's all very temporary, my friend. It's all very temporary. This was our Christmas gift for the next 10 Christmases.
Yeah, exactly.
Akshay, back to you.
I mean, we've seen the problems with Arsenal from the last season. Matlab, FA Cup or Community Shield are filling the gaps, but they are not exactly showing you the real Arsenal. We are seeing the real Arsenal right now. Arteta was going to have problems with this Arsenal side. When you got Willian in your side and you're not playing Pepe and you're playing Willian, पहले game में 3 assists दिए, ठीक है, वो हो गया. I think he's completed that quota of first half of the season. वो हो गया उसका. और शायद he'll turn up against Chelsea, वो हो सकता है. और like वो वैसा ही बंदा है भाई. और like I was talking to an Arsenal fan, he said Mesut Ozil is causing the dressing room disruption. Like कैसे? जो बंदा खेल ही नहीं रहा है, वो कैसे?
I don't think उसके पास लॉकर भी है इनके dressing room में.
He's not in the dressing room. Yeah.
He's not in the
Oh, exactly. How is he disrupting your dressing room? I think these guys should be taking responsibility. Aubameyang, David Luiz, I think these guys will be main culprits.
Yeah, Lacazette भी, even though he scored yesterday, बहुत poor. So poor yesterday. He was given the captaincy. मतलब ये तो captaincy curse हो गई यार. जाका को दी वो sent off, holding, then he plays very bad game. और कल लाका को दी. Yes, agreed. Laka scored a goal, but beyond that and before that and after that, कुछ नहीं.
Bro, you can't justify Laka's performances on the armband. He's shit always. So anyway, just not get Xhaka in there.
No, I think the players you've mentioned, you can easily see that Arsenal aren't producing chances for shit.
Yeah.
And if Chelsea need to beat them, it's pretty much score first and then wait,
Sit on it.
give them the
Yeah.
ball and hopefully Pulisic and Werner's speed and clinicality
I don't think
will
कि
win
तुम
them
लोग-
the game.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I think the
you
FA
will
Cup
have a
we
problem.
lost. Yeah, we
Yeah.
lost because we tried to play with the ball to them, which is playing to
Yeah.
their strengths. But if we just go first and then just sit back and say Arsenal come at me, I think it's going to be a okay game.
Arsenal
Exactly.
attempted.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal cannot break a low block. They don't have such creative players. They have ball carriers, but they don't have creative players who can.
Very true.
Yeah, who can cross a ball behind defenders. मतलब ऐसा बॉल
हाँ.
डालने वाला बंदा है ही
Yeah.
नहीं.
Yeah.
हाँ, you're right.
They can
And
swing
to
that
Ak-
ball behind defenders for
to
run.
Akshay's point, Arsenal attempt the third most crosses in the league, and they create the fourth fewest chances from crosses.
Sushil, my question.
You can
So-
imagine how many
my
of those
que-
crosses didn't go in. Yeah.
My question
9
is,
out of
Sushil-
10 crosses. Yeah.
Sushil, my question is cross डाल किसको रहे हैं भाई?
Yeah, that was the other point. Like, who are you crossing to?
Bloody.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's completely on Arteta. You can say what you want about the squad and who's doing what, but his tactics have been poor.
Yeah, that's the difference between setting cones at someone else's managerial job and putting your own cones in the way you want it, right?
I mean,
थोड़ा-
I wouldn't go
थोड़ा
that
सा-
far.
थोड़ा सा simplistic, but yeah, I
Don't
guess
kill the beggar, Prathamesh.
as we spoke about it. Prathamesh. But yes, actually क्या है कि this particular argument has been used against Arteta. It has been used against Solskjaer as well. And sometimes, at least last season, I remember, it was used against Lampard as well. He, they're not experienced enough. They don't have.
No, but
enough-
Koshagra, Lampard actually managed a team before Derby County. Solskjaer has managed numerous teams. He's won the league with Molde, so he knows how things work there. So it's
Yeah.
not like they were
Hey,
totally noob
even
managers.
talking about Socha and Arteta, like
It's unfair.
United has problems with Pogba. They are still playing him. They are utilizing their resources. Pogba
Man
is a resource
management.
for them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have Ozil with you. I don't see a problem of him
we talked
being-
about it, right? We talked
Yeah.
about it. How the problem with Maguire and all these issues happened with United, and still we were able to. But whereas this Ozil thing has been dragged into one baby feud now, like you don't have creativity. You have a player who you're paying 300 plus K a week, and he's sitting at his home tweeting at his own design. He's
But-
probably investing in his cafe, and he's doing all kinds of
okay,
good
Players
okay.
on the pitch.
Okay,
are-
Before we wrap up, just
No,
one point.
before we devolve into a complete United
Yeah,
discussion,
yeah.
there is a separate United segment for this podcast. Let's leave United there. Sushil, your point. And then
Yeah,
I'll
just
come
one
to
last
Atul.
point, and this is to all Arsenal fans, right? I think the problem, so many people get hung up on Mesut Ozil for God knows what reason. Yes,
Yeah.
the drain on resources, but he's not the biggest problem at that club.
Far
way.
from being the biggest.
Yeah,
Far
yeah.
from being the
Agreed,
biggest.
agreed. Without doubt. He's not, I don't think, अब तो मुझे लगता ही नहीं, I don't think he's even a problem at this club. because-
Yeah, I don't think he is. He'll be gone.
He'll be
And-
gone. If not in January, he'll be gone in the summer. मतलब,
Can you
I'm
tell
very
me-
sorry. I woke up very late in the morning. I just saw Juventus lost 3-0 to Fiorentina.
Yeah,
Juventus lost twice last night, They
yeah.
lost 3-0 and they got the victory against Napoli taken away from them. They have to
I
play.
think
Yeah.
Arsenal
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
replacement
yeah.
now.
So Atul, coming to you. Finally, just the last bit on it.
I was just saying ki, can you imagine like selecting the goal of the month and the only one you score is the penalty against United? Like that's the thing of the club now. You score one after and then you have to select the goal of the month. That's the thing for Arsenal.
That's also, and Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah, he said that we
Magalhaes.
need the fans. We need
Yeah.
the fans. We
And
need
he gets
them.
sent off.
He gets a red. Yeah.
and also he's been the player of the month every month for Arsenal this year.
Yeah, and you talked about the goal of the month, right? This happened once with West Brom before when they had to cancel that whole thing because they did not score a goal all month.
हाँ, तो they
But
must have
it
gotten
has happened with
relegated.
United as well. United just scored one. It was a Rashford penalty. But then
Yes.
again,
It
Yeah,
happens,
but
bro.
condition
It
of the
happens.
club.
It happens a lot. Atul,
They
just
might
last-
have more red cards than goals, I think.
just
Let the moderator moderate.
Yes, please. Just shut the fuck up, all of you. All right.
You should go
Coming
to
to Atul.
Republic.
Atul, coming to you. Do you think if they sack Arteta, any possible changes or any upliftment in form can be seen?
see the problem, as Vijay also said, it's not Arteta only. The players aren't performing. Like you send in a bunch of 11 players who don't know jack shit about what they have to do on the field together. Arteta can't help them. Like, you need to know where you have to be and where you have to perform and where you have to put in the balls. Like, you just run in there like headless chickens. That's not going to help the club itself. ठीक है, तो आर्सेनल नीड टू लाइक पुट देयर शिट टुगेदर एंड थोड़ा सा एक मैन मैनेजमेंट एज प्रथमेश सेड, एज अनुराग सेड, वो जरूरी है at this point of time. And the bigger players need to step up. It's not like they'll just come and they'll be like firing on Twitter. Yeah, Gary Lineker said this, Gary Lineker said that. No, you need to perform on the field as well. So I think just firing him won't be the real thing, and the players need to step up at this point of time.
Okay, players stepping up. Vijay, Akshay, what are your predictions for the Chelsea Arsenal? Do you guys play home or away? You guys are at home, right?
Chelsea
That's
home, I
Stamford
think.
Bridge, yeah. Willian
That's
at Stamford
Stamford
Bridge again, yeah.
Ah, lovely. So, how do you think,
No,
Willian
it's at the
It's
Emirates.
Arsenal's
It's at
home.
the Emirates.
It's at the Emirates.
Oh, my bad.
It's
Sorry.
at the Emirates. So, all right. I should have known as well. Anyway, both of you, one by one. Vijay, we'll start with you, then we'll come to Akshay. Predictions for the match?
I'm sorry. Atul brought out the headless chicken, and I'm just thinking like that's the guy trying to head those crosses that they're putting in, and that image is like really funny for me. I think it's 2-0 Chelsea if Thiago Silva plays. Yeah.
Yeah, Akshay.
Same. 2-0.
2-0.
We'll get a clean sheet. Arsenal create
Alright.
नहीं करते chances, so
अच्छा, and for my FPL team, मैं Chilwell निकाल दूँ, right?
किसे?
At your
Chilwell
own
is out,
peril.
right? Chilwell is out, right? I'll take him
Yeah,
out of my
Chilwell's out.
FPL team.
Chilwell's out.
Chilwell's
Reece
out.
James is also out. We
James
have
is-
Aspie and Emery.
Yeah, and I think going ahead, Chelsea fullbacks can be something that may be exploited now, because Reece James and Chilwell are levels above Cesar and Emerson, I would think.
For sure. I mean, I think I forgot that we're speaking about Chelsea because Arsenal been so far. But I think, yeah, the fullbacks can be exploited, especially by Sako and Maitland-Niles. Like, those guys do have the pace. But again, it's on how we approach that game. If we let Arsenal have the ball, then I think we have enough resources to handle that. But if we try to, without Ziyech to do damage to them, it could be an FA Cup. I mean, they do have the resources to hurt us, and Lampard is, not that tactically acute. So I don't know.
All right. Sushil, we'll come to you now.
Yeah.
From a club which is playing piss poor football to a club that quite honestly playing champagne football at this point. Liverpool were incredibly impressive in their victory against Crystal Palace. Absolutely thrashing the Eagles down back to earth. Crystal Palace had a couple of decent results heading into that match. And you were discussing that as well about Roy Hodgson post-match press conference,
Yeah.
almost looking depressed. And I caught him a couple of times during the match just laughing at the goals. That nervous laughter you have when you've been caught red-handed with something, something on those lines.
Right.
So, how do you look at Liverpool? I'm sure you must be chuffed to the bits with the performance of the team, performance of the club, but also your comment on what Mohamed Salah and he said to the Spanish press. And are you worried at all, or do you
No,
think
I'm not worried.
it'll even personally? I feel, Sushil, even if you do lose him now, it's probably the best time for you to cash in on him and get a younger player in his position.
There's only one player I can think of who would be a good replacement. I won't say his name anyway.
Don't
Don't
say.
but let's be very honest. His reports around him have also come out this weekend
Yeah.
that it's not any particular club he wants to come to. He just wants to come back to England. So
Yeah. So I mean, actually, that wasn't the player I had in mind.
It's
Oh.
the other one. It's the other one.
I guess
Calves
I
FC.
guess he's thinking. I guess he's thinking Mbappe. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
are you thinking Mbappe, my friend?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I thought-
I was thinking.
Which is why I didn't
Sancho.
say it.
I was thinking of Sancho.
I was thinking of
No,
Grealish. Nice, incredible.
Sancho's been horrible this season. I don't know if you guys have been.
He has
Yeah,
not
I
been
have-
horrible. He has not been
Perfect
horrible. Yeah,
for
that's
United.
that's too far
okay.
fetched. No,
Liverpool.
Okay, yeah. Before I come to the game about Salah, I think you can treat it as something of a contract negotiation ploy. Spanish presses are usually, known to plant stories like as and when a player is looking for a new deal. That being said, if there is interest on his part to go to Barcelona or Madrid, I'll show him Coutinho's career since he left Liverpool. And
That's the whole point. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. At this point, why would you want to go to them? I would
Exactly.
rather.
And
I
look,
would rather think he wants to go to Atletico.
and
That
Mo
would make more
Salah's,
sense.
Mo Salah's a Liverpool legend, right?
Yeah.
He's been, in my opinion, top 2 or 3 players in the Premier League since he joined a
Agreed,
few years
agreed.
ago. And
Vijay is crying inside his specs or goggles.
and this season, if you look at the calendar year that just passed, he's the top scorer in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So he's been up there. It would be difficult to replicate his contributions in terms of goals and assists. So in that sense, I wouldn't want him to leave. But I don't think anyone in this league is irreplaceable.
Indispensable.
As
Yeah,
as,
yeah, and
as-
also
I would-
Liverpool get lesser
Sushil.
penalties if he leaves, so that's a
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, come on, man. Like,
Sorry, say that again.
He's talking about Salah and penalties, bro. Like, I really, as a moderator, I would.
Oh, Bruno, what?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, people living in glass houses don't throw stones at others. Really. So, let's not go there. But
yeah.
His class is undeniable. I would think the one indispensable player you do have is probably Alisson, because
Yeah.
there isn't really a goalkeeper of his ilk right now. Maybe Manuel Neuer, but I think Manuel Neuer makes too many mistakes.
And honestly, even like Van Dijk's not going to be here this season, but you can see as soon as you get a shitty keeper in Liverpool, the season just, collapses. So Alisson, I agree, he's the most integral part of that squad. Coming to the Crystal Palace game, I think, there were shades of the 7-2 loss at Aston Villa was just going in, right? So I got the other side of the equation there. I thought they played really well, but I thought Crystal Palace also, apart from the first half where they were decent, I thought they were very poor in the second half. And the way they gave space, some of it is just, once you've conceded 3 or 4 goals, players just stop caring.
Yeah.
But some of it was just shoddy defending.
Yeah, Sushil, it's
Alright.
just like Palace. Palace only care about teams from Manchester. When it comes to teams from Liverpool, they have like, okay, come in.
No, I mean, again, we spoke about this before, right? Luis Suarez and everything else. Crystal Palace, Liverpool do have some sort of a history there.
Yeah.
But coming back to it, Sushil, you guys take on West Brom next.
Yeah.
Clearly not a very difficult task there. Even with a managerial change, they got stuffed by Aston Villa in the Midlands derby. So I think you guys should be safely top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, Sam
Yeah.
Allardyce is a bit of a banana peel for Liverpool.
I don't think he has
I
a
don't
squad
think-
even for an Allardyce performance, as they call
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That Italian. Not really. I mean, I'll not disrespect Italian defenses, but the staunch English Brexit defense that he'll have.
Not the
Yeah.
analogy you want to use.
I think the good thing for Liverpool, typically don't do well in games where they don't get enough rest from the previous games. I don't think that's going to be the case going into.
You have the entire week off, right? You're not in the.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they'll be
Cup.
they'll be in good shape going into this game. So yeah, I anticipate like a 2 or 3-0 win. It's at home, so pretty much bulletproof there until someone proves otherwise.
Clearly not. It will not be West Brom. And Sushil, just talking to the guys on a separate WhatsApp group, Pratnesh and Anurag, is telling them how United visit Anfield on 17th and 18th is my
Oh,
birthday.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
match starts at 10 p.m. and it'll probably end after my birthday's already been there. So I think we might end up watching the match.
Yeah, Kushagra,
And for my
let's
sake,
plan it
I hope it's
together,
a good
yeah.
birthday. I hope it's a good.
Let's call Sushil to your place and let's beat Liverpool at Anfield and let's celebrate in front of him. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Way to jinx it.
Anurag,
Bro.
can you just cut this off the video?
Yeah, I don't want the world to see all this, right? Because we got we got bad.
I've just noted the timing. I'm cutting that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Coming back to you, Sushil. So an easy win.
Yeah. Say that again. Sorry.
An easy win for you guys.
Yeah, I anticipate it'll be 2 or 3-0. What I'm looking for now is just Sadio Mane scored his first goal in a long time, so I'm hoping he keeps that streak going. That'll be key for the rest of the season.
All right.
That story was beautiful, wasn't it? The celebration thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It really good. It really was. Yes. Coming to you, Anurag. Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anurag, the other big match for the weekend, arguably because it's second versus provisional third, is Leicester versus Manchester United, and Manchester United coming off of a very impressive victory over Leeds, wherein they could have scored 10 goals maybe. They ended up with a 6-2 victory.
Vijay doesn't
Again,
agree with the impressive word, Kushagra.
all right, I mean that's cool.
Different school of thought.
He's got his
Fine.
shades. He's got his
Somebody's
shades.
got to be the Prathamesh to United fans, right?
Of course. Constant, consistent, and very well put.
Yeah.
But Anurag, coming back to you, Leicester in fantastic form. Brendan Rodgers now again being linked with the Arsenal job. Pundits coming out talking about it. My question is he stupid? Like, he's got a much better squad at Leicester. Why would he even consider going
And
to
much
Arsenal?
better management with
Yeah,
full-
much better owners, much better. They've got a better director of football. At this point, they only have a smaller stadium. I mean, that's all I can say.
precisely.
They've won a major trophy. They've won a league much more recently as compared to Arsenal. So,
Yeah.
once again, Leicester in very fine fettle, but we'll start with United first. Your views on the United victory versus Leeds, and how do you see this Leicester game? Considering the fact that United do play, as it depends on when people are watching this, but we're recording this on the Wednesday. So United do take on Everton later tonight in the League Cup quarterfinal. They travel away to Everton. So that's a match. Unlike Liverpool, United don't have a week off. They have only 3 days off, and
Yeah.
that could also play a big part in the team selection.
It could, and one of the things to consider is that I don't think it is actually a thing to consider. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay have been left out of the squad for the Everton game, so I think it's pretty obvious that they would travel straight to the East Midlands. And see, again, I think what we saw against Leeds was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer telling his players, "This is a team where you'll get a lot of against whom you will get a lot of chances, so you can." Sort of go on the front foot. You saw someone like a Scott McTominay who rarely goes forward, bombing forward every time he had the ball. That was something that came from the manager. That's not something he did by himself, obviously. So, will that be the same instinct against a more stringent, defensively, a lot more stringent Leicester side? That won't be this case. And I think this is where a lot of the old problems that United have had will be resurfaced. That's where I think we might as well struggle a little bit to uh, find a way through that low block of Leicester. They What they did to Tottenham was absolutely phenomenal. I felt. I think giving Jose a taste of his own medicine was absolutely terrific in its own boring way. Uh, yeah, I didn't really enjoy the game, but again, what else do you expect? Both teams didn't want the ball. If it's like you take it, no, it's you take it. It was a bit like that, but there was
Yeah.
intensity, which was appreciable. But again, I think again this is one of those games you'll see United having a lot of possession. If by chance if we are conceding first, I think that's going to be done and dusted. I think it'll be very difficult to come back. Unlike a lot of the other games, I think this will be a lot more difficult to make a comeback in. But also, Leicester City have not defeated United since their first game after coming up, which was a
Jinx
5-3.
part two.
Yeah, this is Jinx part 2, but I don't really believe in that. But again, that is a stat. They haven't defeated us in 5 years now. So I hope that continues. Uh, let's see.
And they're usually good against the top six. Big
Yeah,
six.
they're
Yeah.
generally very
That's
competitive.
the tendency of Wolves and Leicester, isn't it? Mostly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And then United play Leicester and then they play Wolves. So it's funny, isn't it, Pratmesh, that we're talking about all this. But, coming back to the match, the Leeds match, just how worried are you by the United defense? Because, again, the 2 goals United conceded, again, agreed Dallas was more of a wonder hit sort of thing. But you can still say Fred and Wan-Bissaka were backing off, and they shouldn't have done that. They should have, come. They should have confronted him and not given him the space. And then the zonal marking, bro. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell is going on? Why do clubs play zonal marking, or why do they not mix the system with playing 4 people in the zone and 4 people as man markers, which a lot of very good teams do and do very successfully.
Yeah, you're talking about Fred. I felt at that point of time, all he was thinking, or all anyone else in the team was thinking of, if they were able to nick the ball of Dallas, it is 7th on the offer. So
Yeah.
I guess that was one of the issues there. Zonal marking is it's piss poor, right? We talked about it in the SOM thing, where how our women's team attack and defend corners, and compare that with the men's team and how poorly do it. So
Yeah.
like
They have
the
different
system,
managers.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
different
The
managers,
women's
obviously.
team probably has a better manager. I mean,
Yeah, no offense to Solskjaer.
Whoa!
they
No,
do.
offense. No,
Casey
no,
It,
Stoney. Casey Stoney is one of
I
the
don't
best
think.
That meta
best
moment when you
managers.
yourself become a beggar.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say with Chelsea as well.
yeah,
That's pretty
it is.
much.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Emma Hayes,
Look,
yeah, Emma Hayes.
I
Emma
think
Hayes.
that's more applicable to Chelsea. Emma Hayes is
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
way
Emma
more.
Hayes is a legend. Yeah.
Pratmesh, would I be wrong in saying Emma Hayes and Casey Stoney are two of the maybe 3 or 4 best managers in women's football?
Emma Hayes and Casey Stoney are those kind of people who could easily take the men's job and nobody would mind it. They're that good.
Totally.
And coming back to United's zonal defense, I feel this is a problem we have had for a long time. I think not. I think Moyes didn't probably have a zonal marking system, but ever since Moyes actually went off, and we saw with LVG and how Phil Jones used to take corners while attacking, we attack really badly. While defending, it is from LVG that I really saw zonal marking, because that is something that what the Dutch really do. I don't think Jose really changed that much. I think he also believes in a similar system where he plays more zonal, and then from there he decides to go man to man to whoever is near to the player. So
Yeah.
and then pretty much that system continued with Solskjaer, because I felt Solskjaer's basically defending tactics on corner is whatever happens, Maguire's going to save us. So that's pretty much is what is happening here. Where
But
I think
Maguire doesn't
and
save you.
no, but
Maguire
credit to
never saves you.
That's the most
credit
suicidal plan of all time.
yeah, credit to Maguire. He at least, he's there and thereabouts at every corner. He wins most of them, and the
Yeah,
ones he doesn't win, they end up in
he's in
goals.
the frame. He's in the frame,
He's
ruining the
always
frame.
yes,
He's
he's
in the
ruining the
frame, ruining
frame,
the
bro.
Yeah, while attacking, it's really bad because
No,
then
no, even
Maguire just
while
pushes someone down.
defending.
even while defending, I never see him go for the ball. He's always in the right zone,
Yeah,
but he never has the right player. He's never competing.
So
Your
he
best
needs-
header never competes for the ball when the ball comes.
He
No,
needs
yeah,
two
he
players
just
to
holds
kill around
someone.
him.
Yeah,
He
he
needs
just
two
holds
players to kill
someone
around
and,
him.
and he just clears the ball. It's as if there is one stand on which you have that bat, and then the other player just save that bat from being disturbed, and that bat just clears it off. So that is pretty much how United defend on corners, which is
One more
suicidal.
thing I'll like to add on Leeds versus Manchester United. Leeds
Yeah.
had 6 left-footed players in the second
Yeah.
half because
Yes.
they knew कि Van Bissaka wala side you can attack that side,
Yes.
because I think one-on-one we have seen Van Bissaka is brilliant, but when it comes to positioning and marking players,
Very
like that,
bad. Very
it's,
Very
bad.
bad.
it's really bad with that. So we can see Harvey Barnes and Madison combining those balls. Madison making Harvey Barnes making those runs, Jamie Vardy making those runs.
Maybe
from
slipping
the
to the left. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
yeah. We
Yeah,
can.
and then Lindelof isn't the most quickest of the lot, is he? So that is another
But his
difference.
positioning is really
Yeah.
good. Lindelof.
Yeah, his positioning is good because I think that's the only thing that he can really.
I honestly feel
Yeah.
Lindelof. I know not a lot of United fans agree with me, but I honestly feel Lindelof is a better defender than Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
And coming to
On
Atul,
any day.
On any
coming
day.
to Atul, so basically हम लोग पता है कौन से कपड़े पहने? Basically, you get one of those gowns you get in a hospital. You're covered up front. There's nothing at the back. They wear like that. We have like an hospital apron sort of a thing. So we'll talk about the front now.
Yeah.
Talk to me
You
about
just,
the
you
attack.
just reminded me of that scene from Suits where the guy proposes to his girlfriend.
All right, I'm missing something there because I saw Suits very long back, so I don't really have fresh memories of Suits. But yes, we'll plug that in a little later. Pratmesh, coming to Atul, what about the attack? How much confidence does this attack give you?
See, even if United score 15 goals, now we'll be talking about the defense itself.
Because they would have conceded 15 also.
Yeah, they
Maybe 16.
They scored 6, but the manner in which they conceded the 2 was the thing that we really cared about that at that point of time. But if you think of it, attack, Hamara Bruno has been brilliant again. Like he's the player of the month, day in, day out, month in,
He's
month.
the player of the season, bro, across
Yeah.
Premier League.
He is the best. He's the best player
Against-
in the league.
He's the
Against-
best player in the league. I mean, I'm not even having that debate anymore now. He's the best player in the league.
This feels like a cult. Yeah,
No,
where we all
it's
have
not
to
a
say
cult.
he's the best
It's
player
not a
in the
cult.
league.
It's not a cult. He has 29 goal contributions in 27 Premier League matches. He has not had a single spell of 2 matches when he's not had a goal contribution over the
Okay.
past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's the best player in the Premier League. There is no discussion around that. And Atul,
Sushil wants to have.
Yeah, I know.
Not worth it. Not worth it. It's fine.
Right?
I have stats backing me up, Sushil. I have stats backing me up. I am not talking out of thin air.
Even I have stats backing me up, but go ahead. It's fine. This is a discussion for another time.
It's a discussion for a longer podcast.
An epic rap battle.
Yeah, it's a rap battle basically.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Atul, carry on. Sorry.
So against Leeds, apart from Bruno, Anthony Martial I think was brilliant with his the runs he made and the space he left for the other players to exploit. Marcus Rashford was again brilliant, and even Dan James was good at times. So I think overall अच्छा performance था attackers के लिए, and apart from that McTominay was brilliant going forward. So ठीक है, Ole did do a few things to chip in with his accuracy of the game, his reading of the game, like how Leeds play, how many space, अपने attackers ने सबसे ज्यादा exploit किया उनकी man to man marking को with the one touch football that we played. ठीक है, so that was
Dan James also said ना कि we knew कि वहाँ पे one-on-ones होंगे. There'll be a lot of one-on-ones, and it was up to us to win those one-on-ones and create chances, and that's essentially what happened.
So the football they played was easy on the eye. When one touch football, it comes off. It looks really brilliant, and
it was like a third goal against Sheffield, right? It was so beautiful to watch.
Yeah. So at that point of time, it was easy on the eye, and you are up 3-0 in so less time. So ठीक है, overall good performance. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to talk about the defense, because we know the defense will be the same as it was against Leeds, and we won't be scoring that many goals against Leicester. So it comes down to how many are
very
they
true
able to score, and how many can we create. And we can't really rely on again
And also,
doing all of it.
Exactly, and let's be very honest. The एक बार हो गया कि McTominay and Fred created so much, it won't happen a lot of times.
It won't happen a lot of times.
Because that's not the players they fundamentally are. And wrapping that up, the three of you, Pratnesh, you can start predictions for the game.
That's a tough one, man, because I honestly don't see a reason why Leicester would not be able to cope up with this, because they have been really good this season. The only positive thing that I can think of from my point of view as a United fan in that one unidirectional way is that Jesse Lingard scored against them last season. So there has to be something wrong with them which we can exploit. So that is my positivity, a little bit of it. And obviously, when you score 6 goals just the game before, you have that little bit of confidence. You have attacking players who are playing well. So let's take that positivity and keep smiling like that until it makes a whole lot of difference.
I wasn't really looking forward to hearing Jesse Lingard's name throughout this podcast, and I'm really sorry, but I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
All right.
By the way, you asked for a prediction.
Yeah.
Yes,
So my prediction was probably a draw.
Draw. All right. Atul.
I think United will win this one 2-1, because a clean sheet nahi aayega. That's how David Daya has been performing and our defense has been. But I think
De Gea has been good.
He has been good, bro. Come on.
no, I don't think he has been that good. At the one save
He has been
made
very good, I think so.
from Rafinha, I guess from Rafinha, right?
Yeah, that was a
It
good
was a
save.
point blank save, but it was straight on his body. ठीक है, and ठीक है, David Daya is a
No,
world-class keeper.
amongst the 2 goals, so he really couldn't have done anything.
No, I'm not saying the performance thing is Leeds, but I'm saying
overall,
season.
he's a better keeper that he's showing us right now. So I think West Ham plus mix it with the Maguire conundrum, and I think we'll concede one. But overall, 2-1 win for me.
We have our Roy Keane.
And Anurag, what about you?
I would say a 1-1 or a 1-0 to United.
1-1 or a 1-0. All right, give me one, man.
1-0 United.
All right.
Positivity.
Some residual positivity by the Manchester United fans there. We'll have a quick look at the Wolves versus Spurs match as well. Both the teams coming off 2 losses, and just a quick word on it. I think Sushil, if you could give us a quick word on the Wolves versus Spurs fixture. How do you see this going? Because this is a very important fixture for Spurs, not just for anything else, but to sort of clinch back momentum into the season, because the last two matches seem to have knocked the wind out of the sails. Just imagine had Son and Kane, or sorry, Bergwijn and Kane finished those chances. We would have been talking about an entirely different scenario here, because they would have gone top. And if not
Yeah.
top, they would have at least not lost. They would have drawn at least with you guys. So that would have changed a lot of things. But now, as we talk about it, Spurs have just fallen like a stone. They're below a lot of clubs. They're below Leicester United. If they don't win this match, I think they go below Chelsea as well. If Chelsea beat Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of Spurs, right? If you look at the momentum they had just 2 or 3 weeks ago, people were, including myself, was talking about them as
Challengers.
potential title contenders. Yeah, and I think that's still the case because they're not that far off the top where it's out of reach. But that being said, it's sort of that, how with Arsenal the situation just keeps getting worse and worse, and that's where senior members of the squad, the coach have to step in and sort of turn things around. I think this is that moment for Jose, and this is that game. And in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, this and maybe the games that come after this, they're really important for the rest of their season. Because if they lose this game as well, then it's just a matter of trying to finish fourth, right? But if you slowly if you win this game and
They
then
need to turn this around. They really
Exactly,
need to turn
exactly.
this around.
The good thing or the positive aspect of this is that Wolves have been really poor in the last 4 or 5 games. I think they've lost 3 of them in the Premier League,
Yeah.
and they've had issues since they lost Raul Jimenez also. So I think this is perfect for Spurs to pick up points. Obviously, it's an away game, so I'm going to say they're probably going to have a 1-0 victory, Harry Kane or Son again, and yeah, that's how it's going to go.
All right. But that will be interesting. That will be an interesting match, because both the teams are known to be, pretty negative, and Nuno Espirito Santo is actually a ex Jose Mourinho player, and both of them get on like a house on fire. So it'll be one bus knocking into the other bus, and
Plus,
Chelsea
plus I
is
plus I
also
really
stronger
hope
bus.
Lee Mason. Plus I really hope Lee Mason is the one managing that game for some
I
reason.
highly doubt Lee Mason's gonna get a Wolves game for the next long while. Just my 2 cents on that. I think whatever the performance, I think Nuno Espirito Santo was out of order,
Yeah.
making such statements. Whatever said and done, we all get pissed off with the referees, but that's a bit much.
But I think we don't have enough time to make this a Daniel Polden's appreciation podcast.
And from Daniel Podence to a manager who'd actually probably really liked Daniel Podence, right? Just a quick word from the entire panel. I think I'll give you all your couple of minutes. Just sum up Bielsa and his philosophy for me. I would keep Sushil for the last, because I think he would let him accumulate everyone else's opinion. Vijay, you can go first. I'm not entirely sure if you're awake anymore. Yeah, he is.
The brilliance of these glasses, right? I think
Yeah.
you lost me at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And
Bielsa, his approach, is it fair for us to even question it, because he's considered as one of the greatest contemporary managers? One of almost most of the top managers try to style themselves towards on him and everything else. So how do you look at Bielsa, and do you think his, I wouldn't say suicidal tactics, his constant energy, constant running, constant positive tactics can eventually lead to a Leeds downfall?
That's a good question. But since you asked, who are we asking those questions? And I think a unique perspective would be, but let's say which fans? For a
Neutral.
Leeds fan, a newly
yeah.
promoted sides from anywhere else, and compare yourself to all the other lower table teams,
Agreed.
Bielsa is that breath of fresh air. Bielsa is hope. Bielsa is, oh my God, we don't feel like, we are going to get relegated this season from the onset. I think they started off with a 4-3 against Klopp. They beat Aston Villa 3-0. They put 4 past Fulham. They had a 5-2 against Newcastle. I mean, these are what, 3-4, 5-4. Like, this is not how a team from just got promotion plays.
Agreed.
And for a fan of that club, when your other contemporaries are, let's say, Fulham, West Brom, to see you here, it's crazy. Now I think Gary Neville said it when they played against United. this team really believes they can take on any team man for man.
Yeah.
That's what his philosophy is. I don't care who you are good enough to take on any team man for man for this style of play. And think of it this way, if this is the first step as a club of Leeds to imbibe this philosophy in them, then this could be like, a different approach to a new Leicester or a new Everton.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, it's a wonderful
Improve
start
the
of a wonderful
quality of the
journey.
players, where they not only believe they can beat man one for one, but they actually are better, quality wise. You get those players. But I don't know. I think in the last two games for Leeds itself, they've created 42 attempts on goal, right? That's in two games, and that's insane. That 6-2 against United, it could be 10-8. They lose for sure, but then you see that style of play brings out a kind of excitement. I think it's what the Premier League is all about. And with regards to other managers, I think there is only one Bielsa, and the first time I heard his name was when AVB was sacked or Avram Grant was sacked. My friend, my sports journalist friend, would keep whispering this name, Bielsa the madman, Bielsa the madman, and
Yeah, I
the
think
only reason
he was at Bilbao. He was at Bilbao back then, right?
yeah, and the only reason he wouldn't have worked is because you have a mad owner at the time, right?
Yeah.
Abraham, I don't know, they would have like just been whipping their dicks on like who's bigger, and that's how they would have come up with a resolution to their arguments. But yeah, Bielsa is a man of principle, and I think Leeds are one of the most exciting teams of this Premier League. And for a team that just came from the championship, for me to be able to say that in their first year, that's testament to how they play.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Very
Vijay, you
impressive.
talk
Very
about
impressive. Pratmesh, I'll come to you right after this. I'll just go in a
Yeah.
cycle. Just wrapping up the podcast. I'll just give you all a couple of minutes each. Akshay, what are your opinions on Bielsa and Leeds? Because we've had a hot debate about him.
Yeah, we had a good debate about this, but see, if Leeds will not play that way, which way they'll play? Because they have been playing this for past 2-3 seasons since Bielsa has been there. If they change their approach suddenly, then I think they'll concede four and they won't score those many goals they have been scoring. So that could be a problem. Obviously, you'll need to adapt to a newer league. Premier League is tough, and Premier League managers will prepare for you. Like Ole has been preparing for you, and you have to adapt in such situations. They haven't done that, but obviously you can't immediately change your way. Obviously, you'll have to adapt. Like the players will need to adapt how it is, how the level of the play is in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So that's how it is for me.
All right, Pratmesh, you were.
Yeah. With Bielsa, I think one of the unique guys, right? He has a stool that is sponsored, so that's pretty good an achievement. And coming to Leeds, I guess Vijay, were talking about building a team that way, where Leeds believe that they are better than any team on the day, which is a fantastic mentality to have, and I can see that in their players, right? They're 6-1 down, they still want to score goals.
Yeah.
But what after Bielsa? Is there any other manager who's such a madman who can maintain that standard? And Bielsa is not going to be
That
there
is my
forever.
question to Leeds fans altogether, because
Exactly.
if you see, Leeds has already become the longest tenure ever in his career.
Exactly.
So we don't know when Bielsa sets up shop and wraps up shop. That's my only
Exactly.
question.
Yeah,
I think it's unreasonable to, as a club, plan your future based
Yeah.
on this guy will not be there unless he's
Yeah.
performing badly. And I think he's definitely going
I mean,
above
it makes
every expectation.
he's only
right now.
he's only
and it makes sense
65.
when you're talking about player recruitment. It doesn't make sense when you're talking about tactics.
Yeah.
Tactics are always going to be tied to the manager.
Yeah.
So why would you?
I think he's just 65, so you can still back him to go on at least for 5 more years. So that won't be too
Provided he stays at Leeds, I think
Dude,
it's
Joe
wonderful for
Biden
Leeds.
is 78. So yeah.
yeah.
Fine, yeah.
But yeah, it's coming back to Leeds, I feel 3 positions where they need to strengthen, which should not be a common thought. But I feel the 3 positions that they need to strengthen because of the way they play are goalkeeper and centre backs, because they don't have the top level centre backs and the goalkeeper to actually compete against top teams. Because you look at kind of mistakes Ayling and Cooper usually make, right?
Ayling is not a centre back, unfortunately.
Ayling is not a centre back; he's a right
The
back,
right back.
to begin with.
Correct.
Koch has been good. Koch has been good this season. After the first game aside, he's been really good. So that is something that they have done. But again, they need someone, a goalkeeper who's more confident in what he does. Which Melier is good on the ball, but Melier has this tendency of making too many mistakes.
Mistakes, yes.
We saw that in the championship as well. I think to see that again.
Even for that matter, that Dan James finish was very iffy. It went through
Yeah,
him.
that was very iffy. And then again, the way Ailing got sold on that one was just too easy, right? So that's the problem with Leeds. I think they need three players. Those three, that spine has to be really good. They have players who at full back positions. I don't know how to call them full back because they sometimes play in central midfield. But the players who they have, who they depend on going forward, they have to be a little more decisive. I feel the kind of misses that Alioski made during that Arsenal game where Leeds would easily thrash them. That game was just something else, and that's something that they will have to change. Obviously, Calvin Phillips, now how they deal without Calvin Phillips? Does Bielsa's tactics still work that way? If Phillips is eventually going to get sold to some other club, because he's a hot property in the Premier League right now, so that's again a question mark. They need Bielsa's tactics would work better, I feel, if it is a more clinical striker than Bamford. I know Bamford scored a lot of goals this season, but look at the amount of chances he misses to score those goals. So I think Bielsa's tactics are not the only reason why they are not able to, get more points than they are. I think they've been pretty straightforward in what they want to do as a team, and I think Bielsa has done that for the last 3 years. And the positivity that's brought in the team and in the city of Leeds is something else. So that is a good sign, but they need better players now. They need better
All
players
right.
who actually adapt to those, and if this is something that they are looking to do beyond Bielsa, then that would be make even more sense to sign better players. Now look at the signing of Rafinha and look at what they had last season. I think that's a huge difference, a huge step up. Now he's a player who's capable of winning those big games by a single
All
stroke.
right.
So that's the thing they need now.
All right.
Can I
Uh,
rebut everything Prathamesh just said?
no,
Only if I
you
get to
can.
do it first.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I said 2 minutes. All
Yeah,
right.
It
I'll
was
take
two
He's
2
had
minutes.
minutes.
his. He's
It
had
was two
his.
minutes.
Ah, no, no. I'm not talking about you, Prathamesh.
Yeah.
He's had his too. You will get yours
Okay,
later.
I'll come at the end. Yeah.
Vijay, if you have any comments, you both can share the two
Nah,
minutes.
nah, I was just trying to make the
He'll
joke if Rashid. Go ahead, Rashid.
Atul,
The
Atul.
moment is lost.
Okay, so as
Hmm.
football fans,
Perfect.
we all enjoy the brand of football that Bielsa is playing. Right, he have got them to the Premier League, and जितना attacking football वो खिलाता है. But the thing here is we need to understand कि हाँ top tier में आ गए हैं, and उसके पास अभी भी championship level players हैं. तो he'll need to dial it down a bit to stay in the Premier League, right? The fans would enjoy to see him यहीं पे next season भी. So we all do love the way he plays with this team, but ठीक है, there's a easy way to like break that form of football. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि we don't enjoy, but यही है कि everyone has their opinion about what Bielsa is doing at this point of time, and I strongly do believe कि हाँ he needs to change a bit कि हाँ the team doesn't go down in the next season. That's what I think of Bielsa.
All right. Anurag.
See, firstly, I think if you look at the last two championship seasons when Bielsa in 2018-19, and that was his first, the second one was 1920. In both these seasons, uh, Bielsa was either the best it had the best defensive record or the second best defensive record. So it's just a matter of fact that I think the biggest influencing factor here is that uh, the games are coming in so thick and fast, and for that Bielsa's work rate that he demands, I think it's sort of coupling and it's sort of in a way it's crippling the players in terms of their energy and in terms of their stamina. It is a little too much to expect irrelevant of what is the quality of an individual or where he stands. I think that's the problem right now with Marcelo Bielsa. uh, the games are coming in thick and fast. I think besides that, if you look at, as Vijay rightly mentioned, in the first two games Leeds were involved in the Premier League, we saw 14 goal involvements. In overall, up until now, Leeds have like 54 involvements. Only Liverpool have more, in a more positive sense, obviously. But
Um,
in a more positive, I know he's fine.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's fine.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah,
let's just,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's assume he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's a That's what I
Can you
would
guys
actually.
hear me? Can you
Yeah,
guys?
we can,
We
but
can. We were going
there
to
is
do a
a
weekend at
beautiful
Marty's
stagnant
studio.
phase. There is a beautiful stagnant phase that you put. Okay, you're moving again.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I can hear you, see you guys properly. So please carry
yeah,
on.
that's fine. So I think that's the problem that he has right now. And if the fixtures were not coming in so thick and fast, I think we would have seen Leeds much more higher up the table. I think I still think it's, if anyone says Bielsa is sort of overdoing or being a bit naive in terms of tactics, I think it is still a bit too early to say. He needs a
Yeah.
few. I think one or two more centre backs who can really who are quick
Defend.
defensively. I think the scouting has been brilliant over the years. So I think I back them to get another 10-15 million signing who can be a very quick and very effective centre back. And if that happens, I think we'll be having a completely different conversation about Bielsa.
Yeah.
Please sum it up for us.
Okay. So the man Marcelo Bielsa has been coaching for longer than Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola together. We were talking about Arteta at the start and how his inexperience lets him down. This man knows what he's doing, right? Not just that, he has been successful at each and every club that he has been a part of, including the one he's currently at. He's brought up Leeds United.
Sushil, Marseille.
Yeah. I mean,
You got kicked out of Marseille, my friend.
whatever you want to say, Marseille is not the only job he had before this, right?
Yeah.
My point is,
I can name you a lot of jobs he's not done well. So I think that's a factually incorrect statement. But please carry on.
okay. Since they've been promoted to the Premier League, they are 8th for the number of goals they've scored, 6th for the number of assists they've had in the league, 1st for the number of shots they've had, 2nd for the number of shots on goal they've had, and 2nd for the number of tackles they've won. This is with a team that is championship level. They have had added barely any Premier League level players. That will happen the next season when they receive the first batch of money from their first Premier League season. Do not place Premier League level expectations on a team that's been just promoted from the championship, right? I mean, I get people love to shit.
That is fair. Yeah.
People love to shit on people like Guardiola and Bielsa and Klopp and all of these guys at every moment that they get the opportunity to do so. But the fact of the matter is, they're in those positions and they're doing well because they know what they're doing. And there will be, like you said about Marseille, right? There will be points where they get it wrong. But more often than not, they'll get it right.
Yeah.
And that's why Leeds have him as their coach.
Yeah, there is a reason why he's regarded one of the best, right?
Yeah, I think Prathamesh, I would think that Sushil has summed it up quite well there, and you're right there as well. There is a reason that Bielsa is regarded as one of the best coaches in the world, and especially one of the most influential coaches, if not the best coaches at least. So I think that brings us to the end of this podcast, lads. Thank you so much for joining me in the WES Post. And I hope to see you. And as far as all of you else are concerned, thanks once again for joining me here. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties at my end, especially the internet difficulties. And for our viewers, we hope to see you soon. Once again, please do share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Pass the videos around. Do let us know what your predictions are for the weekend's matches, and we'll see you soon.